So they also sort of became rather slightly confused with my characters, and in the end it seemed to me that there's not all that much difference between a ghost and a fictional character. They have as much sort of life and energy, and they become almost interchangeable. So the whole writing of the book was a very peculiar experience.
We've got some pictures of your house which were taken to illustrate an interview that you've done for a magazine called Christianity. And of course, a few years ago you were baptised and became a practising Christian. Some people may be rather surprised by that, because I think a lot of people had you down as a sort of a cheerful hedonist and agnostic.
Well, I don't think I ever quite believed in the here and now. I think if you write enough fiction, you become very conscious of other worlds, and Christianity suits the landscape. It suits the landscape I live with. It's what we do here, the rituals as such. And it seemed a very natural thing to me to do. Honour is due where honour is demanded, if you like.
Now, 4 quick questions that we ask all our authors. The first one is usually, how and where do you write? Now, we know how you wrote this book because you wrote it down in the basement with the spiders and the ghosts of the house. So I'll move straight on to question number 2, which is, can you name a book that has significantly influenced you?
Thinking about that, I thought it was probably Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales, which are not really fairy tales for children, but very knowledgeable parables about the way the world works. A most extraordinary book.
And what about a book that you would recommend to a friend?
Well, the book I would recommend, and I am recommending nowadays, is one of my own, I'm afraid, but it's called The Stepmother's Diary, because everybody I meet seems to be a stepmother because of the way the world is going and the extended families, and these relationships with stepmothers, stepchildren, the rest of it is very necessary, and it does deal with this quite head on, actually, about how really, if you're a step, I mean, happiness almost is going to elude you.
And do you know what your next book is yet? Are you perhaps writing it? Are you looking forward to writing it?
Well, I'm writing a musical at the moment, but the novel is there just kind of waiting. I know, but I don't know what it is, but it will appear, it will emerge.
Very well done. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
You had a lot of plans for the course of the day, outdoor plans, maybe the chores, washing the car and out and about in the garden. You'll see a few showers for the day today. I think tomorrow's a drier day, but even the showers that we have, it's not going to be a washout, just a few of them bubbling up. And you can see the cloud as well, bubbling up almost like a bit of a doily of sorts. The showers here and there, a few heavier ones too. The darker areas are blue, but the further west and north you are, maybe not as many. 23 perhaps our finishing number. We lose these showers, they're all tied in with a weather system. That's going to continue to ease its way east, and we'll bring in a weak ridge of high pressure through the course of the night, and with that things start to settle down, so it's a quiet sort of night with just some patchy cloud. 9, 10 to further south 12 to 14. Mainly dry night, and then we get into Sunday, which is, it's a decent sort of day, maybe out and about through the course of the day, maybe in the garden. You'll have a fine dry day for the most part. Wet weather creeping into the north and the west, but that's later on. Otherwise enjoy a decent dry day. Small risk of a shower to eastern areas, and finishing numbers 17. Further south you could be at about 22, even 23. That's the weather for now.
Hello and good afternoon. A British aid worker is among 10 people shot dead in Afghanistan. She's been named as Dr. Karen Wu from Stevenage in Hertfordshire, who was working for a Christian charity. The bodies of 6 Americans, a German and 2 Afghans were also found in the northeastern province of Badakhshan. Police said robbery may have been the motive, but the Taliban claim they were behind the attack. Quentin Somerville is in Kabul now. Quentin.
This is one of the worst attacks on charities working here in Afghanistan in many years. 8 foreign workers killed, along with 2 Afghan translators, and among them a British doctor. Karen Wu gave up a well-paid job working for the private health firm Bupa to move to Afghanistan to do charity work. She travelled far into one of the remotest parts of the country, a 120-mile trek through the mountains, to help set up an eye clinic. As she returned, Karen and 9 of her colleagues were shot dead in a roadside ambush. Police said it was a robbery, but the Taliban say they carried out the attack. At the charity's headquarters in Kabul, a spokesman said it was unlikely that the insurgents were to blame.
I know of other cases where they've taken responsibility within an hour or two. That, to me, sounds more believable. Secondly, according to our sources, that area is not particularly known for an insurgency by the armed opposition group, whichever it may be.
Badakhshan has long been regarded as one of the safest areas in Afghanistan. As a result, many aid agencies work there. But in recent months, the threat from insurgents has increased, and that could lead to charities leaving.
With each attack like this, the aid workers have had to pull back and have been unable to reach